Hello, listeners of the future, imaginary people that I'm talking to. Welcome to the Roll Report, and welcome to the second ever edition of Classin' Up the Joint. This is the part of the show, right?
Second ever.
This is the part of the show where we talk to people that we like about their favorite character class and subclass in D&D, and any other tangents we take along the way. I have started this thing where I've let my guest introduce themselves, and I think I'm going to continue that because I think I wouldn't butcher any names or anything, but like it's always nice. So,
yeah.
Amazing guest, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Esha Mehta. I love to play D&D. You can catch me on Total Party Chill on Twitch and YouTube and probably TikTok and Instagram, wherever we post crap, you'll find us there. And you can find me online at Meta Theory on all socials. And I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I am so excited. In the slight reveal, Esha was originally going to be one of the cast members of the Roll Report. We're still hoping to get them back for a guest spot sometime in the future.
Yeah.
When, I guess it sounds like when your life calms down.
When I'm not working 75 hours a day. Yeah.
Someday that'll happen.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to do less of the other work and more of the D&D work.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I need to make the pivot. I think, it's summer. It's time to, this summer is also my summer. Yeah. I'm ready to like take a break from my life so that I can have fun and be an intentional play.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and to talk about the things. I guess we can just dive right into the thing.
Do it, yeah.
And start with the broad version. Esha, what is your favorite character class in D&D?
My God.
Or top choices. We've established this precedent with Connie, top choices.
I know, and I feel like I'm for sure going top choices, even if you wouldn't allow me to. Okay, so Rogue, and I mean, for the obvious reasons, rogues are the main character of the story. I love being the main character of everything I'm in. Also, I think because they're edgy and it's just such an easy place to start. I know there's the D&D trope of like, oh, your parents died and now you're angry and you're a rogue, so no one understands you and you go off alone and all of that. But like, it's such an easy way to draw people in, I think. It's also like a pretty simple and powerful class. But again, I'm going top three also. I also
we'll get into them.
I also really love bards. I mean, there's so much you can do. It's really, Again, it's also that main character energy a little bit, like every time.
It's interesting to, it's like the high charisma character who traditionally is sort of like going to do the talking for the party, and if not like lead the party's direction, like going to be the face and the voice to some extent.
But there's also like I like playing a bard that's the foil. So like everyone's off doing something and I'm like trying to collect followers, like and create a fan club and like I've got my own thing. And like I'm trying to like do a solo act and we're on an adventure. Like that's really always what's happening when I'm playing a bard.
Okay, we got top two.
Okay, so top
Last
two.
one.
So third one I would say is probably unpopular opinion, but wizards.
Wow. Okay. I will say, in an interesting point of, I guess, similarity, coincidence, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, 2 out of 3 of these are also Connie Chang's favorite.
Wow, okay.
And we'll see if we can end in the same place.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so let's talk about rogues for a moment there. And I'm like pulling up the thing. What do we got? Okay, D8 of hit dice, solid mid-range. Usually you try to hide, so you don't need that anyway.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
Light armor proficiencies, all the stabby stabs for weapons, thieves' tools.
Throwing it all around,
Right?
Yeah.
Good skills, and then all rogues, I'm like trying to remember to do this like as the things that all the rogues get, even just at first level, expertise in something, which will immediately make your skill checks better. Sneak attacks, thieves' cant. Okay, question.
Yeah.
In your games, do you play Thieves' Cant as a separate language, or as it is sort of written, where you're like, okay, I'm talking to you about the weather, but there's all this little subtext, and I'm actually asking you about assassinating
I've
someone.
had different DMs play it different ways. Sometimes like I have to like throw in a word, and if I don't know the word because I didn't roll high enough, everyone's gonna get a completely different message. So I do appreciate that kind of Thieves' Cant where it's like in the details of the language that you're speaking. But I also like I've had fun role playing when Thieves' Cant is considered a different language because that is so silly, and like we're basically doing like Pig Latin or something, and like other people probably understand a lot more of what we're saying than it's like we're giving off. It sounds so stupid. It's really fun though. But yeah, rogues. God. Yeah. When do we get the bonus action disengage? Like our cunning actions. Okay.
Second level is cunning action.
Yes, yes.
Rogues, and then continuing on, rogues I think are one of the classes that get an extra ability score improvement.
Yes.
There's 4th, 8th, 10th, 12th, 16th, 19th. It was 1, 2, that's 5.
Yeah.
And I think most of them are 4, so an extra one. Yeah. Uncanny Dodge comes in at 5th level.
I mean, and then once that unlocks, like, they can never touch you. They can never touch you.
That, and then, another expertise at 6th, evasion, and then not only can you have damage from attack, if you make a dex save, which you're already really good at, presumably, no damage.
Yeah.
Amazing. Reliable talent at 11th, so any proficient skill is automatically a 10.
Yeah.
Which, one other side question, have you gotten a rogue to that level, and do you find the reliable talent curse to be true?
Okay, so I have not, and that's because I wanted to be edgier as a rogue, and so I multi-classed in Blood Hunter.
Ooh.
And then that just like changed the game.
Sneak attack with Blood Hunter.
Yes, and I became Order of the Lycan Blood Hunter, so like I turned into a werewolf, and like I chose fire as my like first like Blood Hunter like damage type. So I would light my claws on fire, and I'd just be like getting in my double attacks with my claws. It was dope. But I did not, so then I did not get to level 10, which
I've noticed the reliable talent curse seems to be this thing where like once you get that, you always roll lower than a 10 on the skill check.
Of course.
Like, well, it's still going to be a 21 or whatever, because by then you probably have like a +9 or 10 to it. I also find rogues amazing as multi-classes. But if you continue on the path, Blind Sense, 10 feet, so it's like it has to be within within range, but Slippery Mind, you get a wisdom save proficiency, Elusive at 18th. No attack roll can have advantage against you unless you're stunned or incapacitated.
That's insane.
Right? Yeah. And Stroke of Luck. I've never had a 20th level rogue, but I think it's like a 10d6 of sneak attack at that point. Like
it's like one hit.
Right?
Death.
If your attack misses a target within range, you can turn the miss into a hit. And if you fail an ability check, you can treat the d20 roll as a 20 once per short or long rest.
Wow.
So, I mean...
automatic success luck point, basically.
Right? So, it's once a short or long rest, but that's still like... That's
so powerful. You save it for like the one roll.
Yeah.
That's huge, yeah.
And just to kind of go back to the character building of it, I feel like there's a lot of different approaches to rogues based on their subclass. Like, I think there is sort of that standard... They're one of the edgelord classes, along with Blood Hunter, I would argue.
So the funniest thing was I saw this meme online. I'm sure everybody, if you are on D&D memes or whatever, you see it. But there's this one with like the two like aggro fighters like in a like locked fist, and it's like who can be the biggest edgelord, or like who is the edgiest D&D class. And like one said rogue and the other said Blood Hunter, and our DM, my first DM, which is also my partner, he sent it to me and he's like, why am I dating an edgelord? Like, you are the edgiest of them all. Why are you multi-classing? It's a ridiculous thing. It was my first character, of course, like super ambitious first character, multi-classing.
Yeah, totally.
I didn't even know how to do everything when I first started.
Onto the Bard?
Yes.
Onto the Bard. Okay. Same hit dice. We started D8.
I love my little babies.
The mid-range ones, I find they're so good because you have to play them carefully.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have a good con modifier, you know. Musical instrument proficiencies, some simple weapons, and the stabby stabs, light armor, dex and charisma. and immediate spell casting. I will say I love Bard spell casting. I think their spell list is amazing, and then you get to supplement it from magical secrets later.
Yeah, like God, Silvery Barbs, come on.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
come on. Yes.
Totally.
It's the best thing. Yeah.
And inspiration and the number of different flavors. Like
this is why bards are so powerful. You get to play a supporting character with your bardic inspiration, but you also can lead the pack if you want to, right? Like you can play both angles of it. You've got healing, like there's so many things that you can do as a bard.
I really appreciate it in the action economy in that way, like exactly as you're saying. And rogues too, sometimes I'm frustrated by classes where you're like, I don't have any good bonus actions.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I can't do anything, And rogues are like, well, mainly I'm gonna stab someone, and then I'm gonna bonus action like hide again, or like and
disengage.
Shoot them, disengage.
Yeah.
And I can use my reaction almost every turn if someone tries to hit me.
Yeah.
Once I'm at 5th level to have it. And bards, you're always going to have a good action, whether it is, the range from Swords Bard, I'm going to go stab someone twice and maybe do a flourish.
Yeah.
And then I get my bonus action of Inspiration, and then I have my reaction for Silvery Barbs. Although that's a newer...
It is.
I'm trying to remember, that's like 6-8 months old spell, right?
Yeah.
It's not like...
Yeah, no, it's brand new.
Brilliant.
I think it came out in Strickhaven. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
And that's all just first level is inspiration, spellcasting, everything. Jack of all trades at second level.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right? You're kind of good at everything.
Yeah.
And the Song of Rest, which I find more useful. It's more useful in campaign than in one-offs or in and it really depends on how you play that campaign, I think.
And Song of Rest gives you those hit points, right? Those temporary hit points. Yes.
During a short rest, if you play a soothing music or oration, everyone gets an extra inspiration die of hit points, like D6 that escalates up to D12. But okay, man, that was only the first 2 levels of Bard anyway. Bard College subclass at 3rd, all kinds of great options. At 3rd is also an expertise. Then we have ability scores, and Bards are 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, 19th. Am I just wrong and most classes get 5, or am I'm you know what? Somewhere over the course of these interviews, I will figure this out.
I think wizards don't, right? Because I think everyone got like a level up one time, and I didn't, and I was very butthurt about it.
Wizards are 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, 19th. You know what? I'm going to make a chart someday. I don't like making charts, but I am.
Just to make sure.
I do feel like there are a couple classes where you get... fighters get an extra because they get one at 6th. Anyway. So ability score improvements, Font of Inspiration at 5th. Counter Charm at 6th, which is also... I want it to be more useful than it is. I feel it. I've seen it played very effectively, but as an action during combat, you perform until the end of your next turn, and you and anyone within 30 feet have advantage against fright or charm based saving throws.
Amazing.
And then there's just like there's a gap. There's nothing
chill out for a little bit
until 10th level. There'll be another ASI and I think another class feature, subclass feature there. But then 10th level is 2 more expertises, as well as magical secrets. The first of magical secrets. Yes. 2 spells. 2 spells from any class at a level you can cast. Same thing at 14th. Same thing at 18th, and superior inspiration, which. I do feel like bards get a little bit screwed on their 20th level capstone feature. It is.
Yeah, because everyone else is like, you can bring anyone, you can do anything you want, you stop all time.
Right?
Like,
Barbarians, you add 4 to your strength and con and can go above 20. And bards, it's when you roll initiative, have had no uses of bardic inspo, you get 1. Which will be a D12, but you're like, Yeah. I feel like I would have a lot of bard levels if I statted myself, and it's one of the classes that appeals to me very much. Yeah. Partly for that. But
I mean, God, I've played all kinds of bards. I played a rapper. I played like and it was like a medieval rapper, so it was bad.
Great.
It was all bad.
Great.
But like there's just so many bards I've played, and I just really. God, it's one of those classes that is like such a good entry level class because you get a little bit of magic, You get a little bit of like role, like you can really lean into the role play if you want, but the practice is there because you're like gonna be this whatever, like face of the party character, you know, like it's really great.
Let's see if we can do a faster hit on Wizards.
Wizard, yeah.
Weakest hit dice. Down
little
there at
babies,
D6.
yeah.
Very
babies.
Squishy. No armor proficiency, though there's sometimes some ways around that.
Yeah,
no
if you're like an
proficiency.
elf, you can get like that elven chain.
I think that is just...
But it's like a rare...
It counts as proficient. It is a rarer item, but I think it just counts as proficient no matter your class. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
You know, I think you get stuff if you get to high level and get the Archmagi robes and like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
No armor or tool proficiencies. You can use a dagger. Hooray! What technically dagger, darts, slings. I have never seen anyone use a sling in a game.
It's got to be like a Wild West wizard.
Yeah.
You know? That would be dope.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Intelligence-based spell casting, you know, immediately big spell slots and some of the most powerful, deep spell book in the game. Arcane Recovery. So a short rest will get you some spell slots back. The only class, except for Warlocks, I think, that do that.
Yeah.
Unless you homebrew some extra, you know, thing. NADPOD did that for their season 1, I think. Second level is your Arcane Tradition, your school. The 5 ability score improvements or feats. And then the interesting thing about Wizards to me, I think, is also that everything is subclass specific.
Yeah.
There's this big gap. Like I'm looking at this
you
list.
You got to make a choice immediately. It's funny because it's exactly like, oh, like you're just starting out. This is why with Wizard, I'm like, you know, choose whatever class you want to start off with, but Wizard is one of those that like everything is going to be really based around what your school is. And so really think about that and maybe play one shot or a couple one shots before you choose like to mainline campaign a Wizard. Just because you're going to get wrapped up in that specific school.
Totally. Honestly, I usually steer people towards martial classes and away from casters if they're new, just because I'm thinking, oh, you have to read about all the spells.
Yeah.
And especially a wizard when your spell list is huge.
Oh yeah. And you're like the definitions and like all like everything, because it's so particular in Wizard of the Coast, like in D&D, it's so particular that like if it doesn't say it, it's not like you have to read in between the lines of what something means or like look up a tweet, right?
Always consult Jeremy Crawford.
There's always a tweet.
But and have a forgiving DM or an understanding one. You know, I am a big believer in rule of cool.
Yeah.
Like, Ross says you can't use mending to repair the mast on your ship that just broke.
But it sounds cool.
How are you going to do that? Oh, the barbarians are going to like try to lift the mast into place and hold it there. You're going to try to cast mending, and then you're going to like use, some other spell to kind of like shape the wood around it.
Yeah.
Hell yes. Cool. Roll for it.
Yeah.
If it's really weird.
Spike growth.
Yeah.
Get some spike growth going around that.
If it's really not the way it's supposed to be designed, I might say no. But more often I want that to work. I don't want to, put unnecessary obstacles just because the rules say so.
We're trying to tell a cool story.
Exactly.
Together. Exactly. And so it's, I appreciate when people are like, well, that actually sounds really cool. Let's try to make that work.
And finish this off, wizards do get spell mastery. First and a second level spell you can cast at their lowest level at will at 18th level, and you can exchange them by spending 8 hours swapping them out. And your signature spells, 2 third level spells at 20th level that are always prepared, don't count against your prepared spell list, and you can cast each of them once at third level without a spell slot.
Amazing. That's huge.
That's a free counterspell if you want it. That's depending on how you play, that's a free fireball. That's a free, what are the third level? Hypnotic pattern. Like, it's so many cool things.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, just wanted to jump in for one quick second to say, hope you're really enjoying the podcast. It would be super cool if you would leave us a rating and review, hopefully that nice 5 stars, on whatever platform you're listening to us on, Spotify, Google, Apple, Stitcher, other stuff. Those ratings super help us out. I get a warm fuzzy feeling when I hear them, and it lets other people find the show. And if you like what you hear, you can head on over to Patreon and support us there. That would be extra cool. Patreon.com/The Roll Report. You can get early access to merch drops, all of our bonus content, all kinds of other cool stuff, and best of all, maybe you won't have to hear me say this ever again. You'll get ad-free episodes. So if you like what you hear, go on over, check us out. Lots of cool stuff. And now back to the show.
Okay, so Rogue, Bard, and Wizard.
Yes.
Can we narrow it down? Even honestly, if it changes, I'm not going to correct the episode, but like, what is it today? Today, in this moment, which of these classes has a hold of your heart?
I think Rogue.
All right.
I think Rogue because Rogue is a great beginner level class, so like anybody can play it. You're not really like tapped into the spell economy, which can be really daunting and terrifying, but you're so powerful. This extra bonus action of like cunning action is so powerful. Sneak attack makes you a great asset too. Like there's just so much that you can do, like especially learning the way combat works, especially around like spacing and like, I have a friend within 5 feet of this enemy, I get sneak attack. Like learning those skills for like initial gameplay is just so powerful. And so I would not have started with any other character. Like I'm just but I would say that Bard is like right neck and neck because you get a little taste. Because you get a little taste of the spells. You understand like healing. You spend a lot of time with that like advantage, like all of that economy is there, and then also like the forced roleplay a little bit, being the face of the party. Like I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I know like some people like are really strict on just like, I'm here for tactics, for mechanics. I'm here to just roll as much as I can. I don't really want to role play.
Like, we'll go play Descent into Avernus.
Yeah, I mean, or like get your table out and do some Pathfinder. Like that's great. But you're here to like explore role play, and it's exciting, and you're normally going to be around a table of people that you love. So
and, honestly, I think both of them are really interesting classes for the role play. And obviously depends on how you build the character, but the rogue can be played in some level as the face of the party as well. If whether or not you multi-class and combine those two, and then you're like, really, wow, I have 7 expertise level skills, you know. The charlatan idea. They're like as a rogue, I'm going to, I think this would work with most subclasses, but I put on a face. I put on a performance. It might be fairly high charisma, but like, I present as a very honest, upright citizen. And then as soon as it's nighttime, I, put on the black.
Go to my seedy little people.
Go down into the underworld, and I'm going to rob the town blind.
Totally.
But no one will suspect me because I am an honest, upright citizen. And the bard can honestly do exactly the same thing in so many ways.
Exactly.
Cool.
Well, that tells you a lot about me. I picked the 2 frauds, 100%.
I mean, not even the ones that can be very performatively based. Like I resonate a lot with both of those. I think there are elements of them that I really vibe with on both of those.
And again, it's also one of those things that like you can really like go as deep as you want, or there's like just enough that if you are just trying to get a feel for D&D, it's the exact perfect place to start.
Rogues, I think, I do think they're a really, really good entry-level class. They're just a touch of complexity and action economy management. Moving on then to subclasses.
Okay.
Favorite subclass. And again, we can start with 5 and narrow it down if we need to. But what's on the list?
Order of the Lycan.
Okay.
Blood Hunter for sure, huge. Which is honestly like, there is so the Blood Hunter subclasses are very similar to the Warlock subclasses. I think that Matt Mercer kind of built them that way. But the Order of the Lycan is just something I've just never seen before.
Sure.
And it kind of has a mix of a little bit barbarian, where when you go into hybrid form, you get like the same resistances, like bludgeoning, piercing, whatever, and then all of those advantages.
Yeah.
And then the cool thing about that I really like is that it's so chaotic that you can end up attacking your friends. Like once you hit below half your hit point total, you're making wisdom saves to make sure you don't attack your friends, which is so dope.
Yeah.
I really love that.
The flavor of it, the way it can force the character to really, you the player are not always in control.
Yeah.
The character has to be in control sometimes. Yeah. So this is, I'm not going to do like the full Blood Hunter rules. We're just focusing on this. Many. But Lycans at 3rd level, when you choose it, you get heightened senses, advantage on perception, relying on hearing or smell. Hybrid transformation, which is a bonus action. You can speak, use equipment, wear armor, or revert. Meow, meow, meow. And you get, Feral Might, advantage on strength checks and throws, +1 bonus to melee damage that increases to +2 and +3. Resilient Hide, resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, not with non-magical, non-silver. If you're not wearing heavy armor, +1 AC. Predatory Strikes, you can apply the Crimson Right feature of the Blood Hunter to unarmed strikes, and can use dexterity instead of strength. And you get the monk thing where you can, if you make an unarmed strike, you can do a bonus action unarmed strike too.
Yes, exactly, which is really cool with the Lycan, because you have these claw attacks, and when you turn on your Crimson Right, you get to choose like what element you're attacking with, and so that's why I was like, I'm lighting my claws on fire, and now I'm giving you those fire damage, and that's I really like that other edgy thing about the Blood Hunter too, that you have to roll your basically your blood die. To take some damage, to do some damage, which is very cool.
Bloodlust we were just talking about. If you start your turn with fewer than half your hit point max, was only a DC 8 wisdom throw.
Yeah, it's not too high.
Okay, I would be curious. I as a DM am going like, well, that needs to increase, similar to how some people rule with wild magic sorcery, where if you pass, the DC
then it goes up.
And next turn will be different. 7th level, Stalker's Prowess. 10-foot extra speed and long jump and high jump, and you get improved predatory strikes, +1 damage with your unarmed strike, and they are considered magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity. 11th level, Advanced Transformation. You can use your hybrid transformation twice per short or long rest, and you get a regeneration bonus at the start of each of your turns when you have at least one hit point, but fewer than half. You gain 1 plus your con modifier in hybrid form. Cool.
Very cool.
Ooh, another brand of the Voracious at 15th level, advantage on saving throw for Bloodlust, and you have advantage on attacks rolls against creature that you have branded.
Oh. Branding is very cool.
So if you want to know all about that, look up the Blood Hunter, or stay tuned for the inevitable episode when my friend loves Blood Hunters and claims them as their favorite class, and I disagree vehemently. 18th level, Hybrid Transformation Mastery, an unlimited number of times, and it lasts until you revert, fall unconscious, or die.
And they are...
And you gain Blood Curse of the Howl if you didn't already have that.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. All right, well, solid entry. Is that one of several, or is that where we're landing for favorite subclass?
Okay, so I mean, I love Assassin. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Assassin is so powerful, and then I would say I can't remember. There is one warlock order I think that I really like.
Okay. Well, let's.
Oh no! Sorry, no. Paladin, Oath of Vengeance.
Ooh. Very, very good choice as well. Okay, let's talk about Assassin for a moment. I also super love Assassin.
Yeah.
So you immediately get
the drop.
Disguise and Poisoner's Kit proficiencies. Your Assassinate feature, advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn, and any hit against a creature that is surprised is an immediate crit.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah, really powerful.
Infiltration Expertise at 9th level, which I have never used this feature, but I love it, and I feel like in campaign it's a lot more interesting.
Yeah, especially a dungeon. Yeah.
Well, Okay, maybe. I'm going to think about that as I describe it, see if I can like do the multitasking. So you spend 7 days and 25 gold to establish a false identity.
Yep.
Can't belong to someone else.
Yeah.
But you can, it says, as an example, acquire appropriate clothing, letters of introductions, official looking certification to establish yourself as a member of a trading house from a remote city. Whatever. And if you adopt the new identity as a disguise, people just believe you. You don't have to constantly deceive them or things.
Exactly.
Okay, 13th level, imposter. You can, if you spend 3 hours studying people's speech, writing, and behavior, you have a advantage on any deception checks performing as that person, disguising yourself. 17th level, the death strike. If you hit a creature that is surprised, it needs to make a con save against DC 8 plus your dex and proficiency, which
is probably huge.
By then, you'd hope that's like plus 11, right? Like five maxed out dexterity and like 5. I think it's 17th. You are at proficiency 6. So that's at least a 19.
Yeah.
Might even get it to a 20 if you have one of the fancy things that lets you bump your dexterity a little bit. On a failed save, double your damage of your attack, where you're already.
If you're surprised, it's assassinating.
You're already critting, you're already assassinating, plus doing your sneak attack probably, and then just
doubling everything. Yeah.
I want to see that. I want to see that in action sometime. I think so Paladin, Oath of Vengeance. Let's talk about that for a second. Again, not going to go through the Paladin base.
No.
Someone's going to have a favorite Paladin class eventually.
Well, I'm interested to see who that person is.
Right? At your 3rd level, when you choose it, your channel divinity is Abjure Enemy. Present your symbol and speak a prayer of denunciation. One creature within 60 feet makes a wisdom save unless it's immune to being frightened.
And it gets out of there,
Fiends and undead have disadvantage.
Yep.
And it is frightened for a minute if it fails or until it takes damage. Its speed is 0. And on a successful save, the speed is halved for a minute anyway. I forgot about that. And then the best one, I think, the Vow of Enmity. Bonus action, you channel divinity against a creature within 10 feet, and you gain advantage on attack rolls for a minute or until it drops to 0 hit points or falls unconscious.
Yes.
Your oath spells include Bane, Hunter's Mark, Hold Person, Misty Step, Haste.
Huge.
Love it. Protection from energy. Huge. Banishment and Dimension Door at 13th level. Hold Monster and Scrying at 17th.
Oh, I didn't know they get scrying. That's very cool.
I mean, way at that last level.
Scrying is dope.
Yeah. Relentless Avenger at 7th. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, you can immediately move up to half your speed as part of the same reaction without provoking opportunity attacks. Love that. 15th level, Soul of Vengeance. Your Vow of Enmity. When a creature under the effect of your Vow of Enmity makes an attack, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack if it's within range.
Yes.
If you don't have Sentinel, that's a great one.
Yeah.
An Avenging Angel at 20th level, you, for 1 hour as an action, you gain wings with a flying speed of 30 feet, an aura of menace in 30-foot radius. The first time any enemy creature enters the aura or starts its turn, it must make a wisdom save or become frightened. And attack rolls against it have advantage. And that is a once per long rest. Yeah.
It's a beast.
It's a beast.
And I liked playing it as like a tiefling demon, like not demon, but like from hell. Like families in hell, grandmas in hell.
Totally.
Great. And so I'm just here because, hell has a bad rap. And so I always try to throw a class on its head and make something funny out of it and interesting.
I'm sensing that a little bit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because, there's going to be someone that's like, everyone just thinks we're evil, but we're actually not. There's layers to us. We all contain multitudes. That's the kind of character I was playing.
Totally.
And so then that was really fun because then you get to add some role play into doing your channel divinity because it's not necessarily divinity that I'm channeling.
Yeah.
And so it's very and it's just so powerful.
What was that character's oath? What had they vowed vengeance for?
I mean, it really was that. It was that people we were misunderstood. And so now I'm thinking.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
Because
cool.
This is racism against my family.
All right, so wrapping this up a little bit because we can talk forever, I'm sure. So, Assassin Rogue,
Lycan
Blood Hunter, Vengeance Paladin. Can we narrow it to the top choice
Yes.
for today?
Yes, and I will, and
Okay.
you will not agree, and I can't wait to hear your rebuttal.
Fucking Blood Hunter,
Of
isn't
course
it?
it's the Blood Hunter.
Oh!
Of course it's the Blood Hunter.
Okay.
I am an edgelord at heart. I love to cause chaos and
Sure.
be awful, and I had so much fun playing
Yeah.
that character.
Yeah.
It's been a treat.
I will absolutely give you, like, not only how you have described this character, but like as we're looking at a little more, like the flavor of it can be really outstanding, like what you can do with your character can be. And just mechanically, like the Lycans are very cool.
Yeah.
I will
The minis
happily-
are dope. The minis are so dope.
I will happily fall on my sword slightly and say that the mechanics of it are amazing, but
you will let some blood.
The edgelord of the whole class is something that I'm still. I struggle. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like wondering if there would be. You know what would be funny if if there were a clumsy blood hunter.
Oh.
And so they're like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, are you okay?" And then they just keep like accidentally killing you.
I love that.
Like that's very funny too. I want to explore a clumsy character that's a blood hunter or like a barbarian or something.
That sounds so funny.
Like it's bull in China shop energy where they're like, "Oh, I just didn't know my size.
I'm super strong. I'm huge, and my arms extend 4 feet in each direction. And when you turn around, I knock things over all the time." What, man, I love that. Yeah, that sounds so interesting and so funny. There's so many
there could be like a turning red situation where it's like I didn't want to turn into a werewolf. I'm just stressed out right now, you know, and you have like an anxiety attack or something.
I also feel like the other thing that I'm thinking of in this moment is how generous a DM could be to really let you make that hybrid form something weird.
Yeah.
Can you know, I think canonically I think there are were-tigers and were-boars and werewolves and bears. But if you're like, I would like to be a were-slug, please and thank you.
Yeah.
My little antenna start poking at people when I transform. Or like, that I want to be a were-lobster.
Yeah.
A crab. I want to have a carapace and like pincers when I transform. I mean, that's
that
the
would
clown
be
in me
great.
just going like, how can I really fuck with this class?
Yeah.
And take it as far from edgelord as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still like I appreciate that it's like, oh, I thought that was gonna be like maybe when you're with the adventuring party for the first time, they're like, oh, that's kind of not as exciting. When you turn into a slug, they're like, what are you really gonna do with a slug? That's
like whatever I want.
Yeah. I'm still gonna let my eyes on fire.
Yes. Yes. My eyeballs are on fire, and then like I spit slug slime at people, and it does like acid. I don't remember if the Crimson Rites can do acid.
They
damage.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was deep in. I spent so long like trying to decide.
Esha, you might have made me like blood hunters. I don't know, man.
They're very cool. They're very cool because there's so much you can do with them.
Yeah. That's fair.
I wanted it to be a part of my story that like I got bit and I kept trying to like be like, bite me. my friends would keep trying to save me because we kept running into werewolves because our DM was like, well, it needs to make sense as a story. You can't just wake up one day as a werewolf.
Yeah. You're like, no, please, come on. Wait. Just 1 second, guys. 1 second. Bite me.
And they keep having to like save. They're like, stop, you're not biting her. And then one day, like someone didn't roll well enough to protect me and I finally got bit. Yeah. And it was just like this waiting game of like, when do I get to...
Was that like in kind of the first 3 levels of progression for that character as you're like building up to the subclass moment? Or was it later and had just like that's how you activate that subclass? Yeah,
so like I had already selected that was what my subclass was going to be, and then it was like a few more months of just playing and seeing when we'd run into a werewolf because it had to make sense for the story. And then you can't just get bit and then like immediately be like, I'm it now. It's like you got to like feel weird for a little bit and like now all of a sudden you're angry and you can't tell why, and then all of a sudden one day like you turn and
there's a full moon maybe and like a thing happens.
Yeah. A big long journey to get there, but it was exciting. It was fun for everyone.
Amazing. Well, okay, we have chosen the rogue and the Order of the fucking Lycan. God damn it. Wow.
This is
amazing.
literally my first character that I
Yeah.
played was that character, and this is an ode to her.
There's a lot of attachment, I think, to those early characters.
Yeah.
Like whether or not you took them to level 20. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm so still in love with my enchantment wizard. You know, they're coming back as like an NPC in the campaign for the
Amazing.
podcast and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's really like you can't let go. I had this character get petrified, and then I had to build another character, and I was like, my whole goal is going to be saving that character.
Yeah, totally.
Even if I never play her again, it's just like I need to do her justice. I'm not gonna let her go.
As a statue in that
She's just
lair
out
or
here
whatever.
frigid.
Yeah,
Like, no. And that's been really great. It's like, I don't know, there's such an attachment because your first character typically is just you in a D&D story.
A lot of the
times.
It's easy to do the role play
Yeah.
that way. You're like, well, the voice sounds like me, and
It's
it's
just gonna be me, but I'm lighting
totally.
my hands on fire. Yeah, exactly.
I wish we could all light our hands on fire sometimes. Amazing. Well, Esha, thank you so much
Of course.
for joining me. And I think one more time, where can people find your streams? Where can they find you if they would like to do that?
For sure. So I stream on Total Party Chill. You can find us on Twitch. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, on TikTok at Total Party Chill. You can also find me on socials at Meta Theory. That's MEHTA Theory. And we are playing Blades in the Dark right now on TPC to be streaming soon. We also did a really great Monster of the Week campaign that just ended that was set in San Francisco. It's an ode to San Francisco. It's beautiful. We've got all of our major city and history there, and it's a romp. It's really fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
There you have it. That's going to do it for this episode of Classing Up the Joint. Thank you so much for listening. Follow the podcast on TikTok and Instagram at The Roll Report Cast. Check us out on Patreon for the full uncut episode where we're talking about way more than just the classes. Ooh. It's only $10 a month for that level, and then you get the full unedited interviews, including the one with Connie Chang and everyone else along the way. And we'll see you next month.
Thank you.